All right, Shalom. Before I start, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash, the honors, to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, peace, blessings, and salutations to all the elect Akim Wa Akwath, learning, teaching, in truth and sincerity. Your brother Malak from GMS Detroit. Hey, and if you aren't already, make sure you're subscribed to the bishops out of Connecticut. This is a video. You have the apostles. Mainly. Some of the apostles live in Connecticut. Well, Elder Apostle Rakah went down south, right? But you have the four top apostles: Elder Apostle Tahar, Apostle Gabar, Apostle Ramlad, and Apostle Rakah. And then you have the bishops here, which there's more than here on screen. But don't forget to subscribe to this channel, Jacob Barak and Jacob Barak 2. You should be watching them every week, as well as, the elders' camp heads throughout the different states. But this video right here, demons are real. Demon possession is real. And because we're spiritual and what we're doing is spiritual, we're on the high end, on the right-hand side. Very commonly when we're out there at camp, we get a reaction out of the left-hand side. So people who are afflicted with demons tend to react very tumultuously and chaotically around us. And I don't mean that they attack us, but just the fact of us being out there preaching, right? The angels out there in our protection, it activates them. And so what you're going to hear in the background is this dude in the wintertime, not cold, just going crazy. And it reminds me of the couple instances you read in the scriptures. Yahweh Shai healed people that were possessed and plagued with spirits like this. All right, it's a very real thing. In today's term, we have words like schizophrenia, autism, retardation, things like that. But keeping it, a whole buck, what it originally was is demons on people, y'all. And these demons disfigure their minds, and they can also disfigure their body. Right, and these are people who have these demons on them that plague them. In the kingdom, they're going to be all right, but on this side, they're afflicted. So let's listen.
Yes. Right. And all that's been going on, when the Biden administration.
So you can hear the bishops preaching, but you can hear what sounds like a fucking black dinosaur in the background shouting off. I'm gonna let it play for a minute too, and we'll get some scriptures.
When they got up in there and Trump was ousted and Biden came in for these 4 years, all they did was basically the stage was set to bring everything into the digital era, make everything digital. Yep. He passed the CBDC, the central bank digital currency. They were the exploratory thing was going on with the cryptocurrency. All that cryptocurrency thing was a Trojan horse for them to figure out how to digitally track everything. Because at first, when the crypto came out, they said, "Oh yeah, it can't be tracked." So of course they got their best IT minds on the game to how they could track things. And now once they got it down pat, now you got the CBDC.
That's when it was on the dark web.
So the bishops are out here preaching, paying dude no mind, right? And dude is going crazy. Why? Because he has spirits on him.
Dark web. Yeah, motherfuckers selling drugs, using it to buying and sell drugs.
Yeah, the dark web.
Guns,
body parts,
whatever. Nuclear weapons, whatever. Hire hitmen, all types of shit.
So they created the cryptocurrency, and they said, look, it can't be tracked. You could buy a hitman, you could buy weapons.
Right.
And so you see, the bishops is looking over at him every so often, wisely, right? You got to make sure that this nigga ain't running with a damn brick in his hand, right? But this is a common thing when we're out there preaching. Why? Because it's spiritual, y'all.
Nukes if you want. All right. So they had all the people on the dark web trading it with crypto for years. But that was just a testing ground. They were testing it out, see what they had to iron out, what kinks they had to fix.
Right.
Now once that whole thing got fixed, guess what? They knocked down the biggest website on the dark web was Silk Road. And you could buy drugs and all types of shit on there, right? And that's where They were using cryptocurrency. So once they figured out we gotta perfect it and all that, right? They shut down Silk Road. Remember, it was a big thing on the news. They shut it off.
So, I ain't trying to make fun of dude. He's going crazy, y'all. But hey, like I was saying, look, y'all, and they didn't have these new world terms back then. Bipolar, this and that. Motherfucker, you had demons on you. All right, now let me get this example. He back there going crazy, man. He's back there going fucking crazy. Mark 9 and 18. Let me see. Okay, yeah. We'll deal with this one. Yep. Mark 9 and 17. And one of the multitude answered and said, Master, I have brought unto thee my son, which hath a dumb spirit, meaning he couldn't speak. And wheresoever he taketh him, he teareth him, and he foameth, and gnasheth with his teeth, and pineth away. And I spake to thy disciples that they should cast him out, and they could not. Right, so what you're hearing, y'all, in the background is an example of what this man's son was going through. He's tearing, he's foaming at the mouth. He's fucking wild. Can't be contained, right? You hear that dude in the background, you think he was standing still like a good little boy at school, crisscross applesauce? No, that nigga, going crazy. Why? Because he has spirits afflicting him. At one point, he was born a little child. His parents, nursed him up to health, right? Now, whether he has a so-called mental disorder and something that happens commonly, or because the reason why it's a lot of, old heads that are out there in the hoods, fucked up, a lot of them took bad hits, right? They was smoking weed or taking something, and it was laced with something, all right? And this was happening, back in the 80s, right, 90s. That's why now you'll see a lot of these guys, they're 40, 50, some of them 60, still somehow, waddling around out there through all 4 seasons, outside of sanity. And that's something that happened famously out here in Detroit. We call him Old Man Musclehead. I got to see if I can get a picture of him. He's an old derelict. He's at least, he's in his 50s or in his 60s. If you saw him, you think he's just an old man, out of his mind, old drunkard, wino. But when this nigga takes his shirt off, y'all, he's built like a fucking black Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, no bullshit, right? He's literally, I'm talking about, he's not like skinny muscle neither. I'm talking about like swole muscle, muscular and big. Deceivingly so. You'd have thought he was gonna come push him over and he'd rip your head off. Word on the street was back in the day, he's a drug dealer and a pimp. Somebody laced his stuff, right? And he took a bad hit, coke and some other shit mixed in weed, and it fucked his brain composition up, right? And then, that's the avenue, a spirit, get in there, boom. And now it's forever on your back till you die. So this is very serious business, right? We're going through the same thing now that we're going back then. We just have new words and terms for it. All right, nothing new under the sun. Verse 19, he answereth him and saith, O faithless generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him unto me. And they brought him unto him. And when he saw him, straightway the spirit tear him, and he fell on the ground and wallowed foaming. Right. And so what does this show? When people who are afflicted with demons, whenever they're around, the righteous, holy, spiritual people, they tend to that spirit starts getting roused up. All right. And why is that spirit getting roused up? Because it's in the presence of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Whether it be, now right here, literally, the spirit that was afflicting the boy was in front of Yahweh Shai, the Lord. But when these people come around us, if we're the Lord's men, that means we're protected by his angels. So it's that spirit, encountering the defensive angels, if you will, right? And that's, that barrier goes up. So they start tweaking, as we see. So he gets to tweaking here, then what happens? Verse 21, and he asked his father, how long is it ago since this came unto him? And he said, of a child. So he been acting up here since he was young. He had that spirit hop on him. And it was for this purpose, ultimately, to be healed by the Lord. Verse 22, and oft times it casteth him into the fire and into the waters to destroy him. But if thou canst do anything, have compassion on us and help us. Right? So this spirit that was on this child, it would cause him to do things that are hazardous, that are dangerous, leaping into fire. So you can imagine the little boy has some cuts, some burns, marks on his skin, right? Hey, I knew a kid, what was his name? Jack? Man, it was this kid. His mother was a friend of my dad. This kid, his name, I think we called him Jack Jack. He was, so-called special, handicap. But he couldn't feel physical pain. His nerves were fried. Now, that might sound cool. Oh yeah, nigga, I don't feel nothing. But that's dangerous. Why is that? Because you can be going through a traumatic injury and not realize it. And there was one time with this kid, Jack, he had broke his fucking ankle and he didn't realize it. So he was still running around outside all day with a completely broken ankle until eventually it collapsed on him, and he hit the ground, and he's just laying there. He's not even screaming, but he's just on the ground because he can't move any longer. His mother, she finds out, has to take him to the hospital. But had he had regular nerve endings, like how you're supposed to, at the moment he broke it, he would have sat down. They'd have been able to get him help sooner. So you see how these spirits, y'all, they can have influence on the physical as well. Because don't nobody in their normal mind jump into some fire or go jump into the goddamn depths of the water, because you understand you'll die. All right. But spirits, hey, when you got a spirit on you, you're through. Verse 23, it says, Yahushua said unto him, if thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. And straightway the father of the child cried out and said with tears, Lord, I believe, help thou mine unbelief. So this was a test of the father's faith. And this ultimately goes to show you having faith in the Lord can heal anybody. Verse 25, when Yahushua saw that the people came running together, he rebuked the foul spirit, saying unto him, thou dumb and deaf spirit, I charge thee, come out of him, and enter no more into him. And the spirit cried out and rent him sore, like dudes doing, ah, and came out of him, and he was as one dead, and so much that many said he is dead. So the spirit left him, he let out one final shout, and little homie passed out. Verse 27, but Yahushua took him by the hand and lifted him up, and he arose, right? So Yahushua got them together, right? So coming back here, this is real life, what we deal with, y'all. This is why one of the things you should be praying for too in this truth is to maintain your mental sanity, because dudes fall out and certain dudes don't be the same in the head. The Lord pulls sense and reason from them. That's why you'll see niggas go, kill something. Or and not even just in the truth, just people in the world. You'll have a guy one moment, they're perfectly normal and sane, and then the next moment you see them do some sort of crime that is absolutely unexplainable. A normal person wouldn't do it, crazy shit. Why? They had spirits on them.
Down, then they put in a public. Now they got all types of shit, XRP, everything, blockchain. All that goes back to cryptocurrency. Now they're ready to use it, so now it's out there. You can trade it, you can buy Bitcoin, you can buy all types of other shit.
So you hear the spirit; it's tearing and renting him. It's causing him to act erratic, letting out noises, right? Animalistic in nature, feral. And it's full blown winter, and them spirits keeping them warm.
Well, yeah, and I was watching Pastor Todd did a video. I caught some of it, and I'm trying to remember where. I don't know if it was Nigeria. They're almost about cashless. You got I think it's Korea. It's almost cashless. So you got all these China is starting to be more and more, because you had the UK was doing it. They still are. So why do you think a lot of these places are going cashless, man? They showed the yuan. I think that's the currency that they the dollars the money that they have in Korea. They sat there, they had stacks of low because they're not using it no more. So which of course I wasn't alive when it happened, but we know what happened during what was the Weimar Republic. You know what they did with the money?
They use that
Deutschmark.
heaters.
Yeah, the Deutschmark. They lighting it on fire, throwing it out the window,
Making wallpaper out of it.
Yeah, because it was worthless. So that dollar bill, and it's crazy because a lot of you niggas sold out for that dollar bill, which is really no money. And,
So you know the bishops are preaching, and you still hear him going wild, and he does it all the way. I'm talking, y'all. This was because now I was playing this, and I was coming in and out of sleep actually, but I'm sitting here, I was listening, I was like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, is there a nigga outside my house screaming? And so I pause the video. I go look out. I'm like, no, that's a nigga in the video screaming. So it literally it woke me up because it was I'm playing this from my TV when I was listening to it the other day, and I have my volume's up. So it sounds like a man outside screaming, y'all. It was I'm like, what the fuck? Uh, so hey, homie got spirits on him, and so that's why y'all. There's people we encounter in this world. They have spirits on them that's guiding them to do things. And our only protection from it is Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Because any one of us could end it up like that dude. Anyone, whatever circumstances led him to that, the Lord could have did it to you. And that's why, you don't go around picking on special and slow people, if you will. Because it ain't nothing for the Lord to send a spirit to fuck up your brain composition as well. Even if you didn't do no drugs or no nothing. Now, spirit on you, slobbering out the mouth, running around crazy, right? Do you like Nebuchadnezzar? Make you Pharaoh for 7 years and then, put wisdom back on you. So it could happen to anybody at the drop of a dime. It doesn't just have to be chemically induced, which a lot of times for these people, it is chemically induced because a lot of them were drug addicts. Nevertheless, it can happen either way.
then what did Trump do earlier this week?
Look, demons, all these demons. So that's why the Most High called this place a lake of fire, because instead of water, it's going to be fire. But it's going to be like a lake, like a river of fire. And that's how high it's going to be. He's going to gobble up any skyscraper you can think of.
So, this is like 10 minutes later. He's still out there. In different intervals, man. This shit bad, man. He got it bad.
Any man-made structure, mountains, everything.
Gonna gobble up demons too.
Gobble up demons. All these demons out here, yeah. It's going to gobble them up. The fire's going to gobble them up. That nuclear fire, gobble, gobble.
Right? That's why when Legion, when the Lord came, the demon said, "Has thou come to torture us before the time?"
Yeah.
The demons
They're doing that right now.
The demons know, yeah.
That's
They know
what
Yep.
Yep.
They know the Lord's coming.
That's it. That's why that demon's wilding out over there.
Yeah. That demon, he talking too, man.
That's a strong demon, man, because they usually wait till the summertime. Demons,
The wait till
Yeah. So, they acknowledged him later on, but that dude was out there tripping the whole day, man. And they mentioned Legion, once again. I'm gonna get this other one too, right here. Legion was we are, yep, my name is Legion, for we are many. You gotta say it with a deep voice. That ain't no fun, y'all. That ain't no fun at all. And I'll probably let me see. Yup, because right here, boom, that's yup. Okay, so I'll be ending it on this one. Mark 5:1, it says, and they came over unto the other side of the sea, into the country of the Gadarenes. And when he was come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit. So he had a spirit on him, and really more than one, who had his dwelling among the tombs, and no man could bind him, no, not with chains. So this dude was around them corpses, y'all. Graveyard. So he was extra. A normal human don't fuck around in the graveyard. That's scary. But this dude was the demon was on him. So he was comfortable. And tells you no man could bind him, so nobody could. Hey, people who be having them spirits sometimes, they're capable of things, of extreme feats of strength. Like Old Man Musclehead. You go mess with Old Man Musclehead in downtown Detroit if you want to. And that nigga gonna rip you the fucking half, literally. hoist you over his head and rip you in half. And he's not even he's like he's not even 6 feet. He's like, what shit, 5'8", 5'9". But boy, he be in the summertime, he'll be walking with all his jackets and shit. Then he'll just take it off and start doing pull-ups and push-ups and shit. That nigga's huge. That nigga swole. He's like a 5'8" black Arnold Schwarzenegger. Will tear you up bad. So this verse, I can easily see it. It says what? Because verse 4, because that he had often been bound with fetters and chains, and his chains had been plucked asunder by him, and the fetters broken in pieces, neither could any man tame him. Right? So nobody could hold dog down. And always, night and day, he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying and cutting himself with stones. But when he saw Yahushua afar off, he ran and worshipped him. Right. So, this dude, like a common thing, he would afflict his own body with pain, cutting himself with stones. A lot of people, they be having demons on them. They be hurting themselves intentionally because it's that spirit, on them, hurting, inflicting the flesh, right? It says he was crying, making loud noises like homie in the background, going crazy. But he saw Yahushua and he came to worship. Why? Because spirits acknowledge spirits. And he cried with a loud voice and said, what have I to do with thee, Yahushua, thou son of the most high power? I adjure thee by the power that thou torment me not. Right? And when you read this in Matthew, it says, hast thou come to torment us before the time? Meaning what? Right now, before the Lord returns, the left-hand side spirits have authority to run wild here in the earth until the Messiah makes his second coming and establishes order. So the spirit's saying, hey, we still got another 2,000 some years and some change. I know you're not coming to, cut me short. Right? So verse 8, for he said unto him, come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. And he asked him, what is thy name? And he answered, saying, my name is Legion, for we are many. Right? And so y'all should know the rest of the story. He sends them out. Spirits leave out. They go into the swine. The swine go and kill themselves. But I want to focus mainly down here on verse 15. So all this happens. The demons leave. Homie's cured. And then what? Mark 5 and 15. And they come to Yahushua and see him that was possessed with the devil and had the legion sitting and clothed and in his right mind. And they were afraid. Right? And ultimately, what did Yahushua do for him? He got homie back together. He healed him. And this man was finally, for once in his life, back somewhat normal. So it goes to show you, ultimately, y'all, that our power is above any power on the left-hand side through Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. That's why, the apostles and elders, our greatest weapon down here is prayer, y'all. You can't stop a demon with guns. You can't stop Esau with guns. Hell, you can't stop your baby mama when she run to the legal system, right? Our greatest tool that we have is prayer, because our prayers go up and the Heavenly Father executes on our behalf. And when you're one of his chosen, when you're walking right, he'll grant and answer those prayers, whether it be against a person, whether it be against a spirit. You can be healed. You can be made safe and protected. So that's it for this video, y'all. Hey, we deal with physical opponents and we deal with spiritual opponents, and you can clearly see it in this video. So I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua B'Hashem Rakakurash, the wonders to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all the elect Akim Akwath, learning, teaching, truth, and sincerity. Shalom.